Hey guys, it's me again, bringing you a late night and last minute Nightmare Corridor guide for free to play players. Now, I'm actually quite happy about this round of Nightmare Corridor because, as you can see, I'm currently ranked 7.5, which I think is really good for where I'm at with my heroes. And I'll show you guys what formations I used, and I'll also show you some variations to the formations. Now, spoiler alert, I was able to merc a Matria for this round. However, I'm still free to play and I still did not use many awakened heroes, as you will be able to see from my teams. So for the first team here, the Lucretia team, as you can see, I'm using Eins. It's quite kind of an interesting team, but that's because I'm missing awakened Thane for this team, or awakened Baden could also work. But I have neither, and since I'm merking Matria, this is my team. And it's probably my weaker team, only getting the boss done in 1.1 minute and 11 seconds, but still it works out and it gets the job done. But again, if you have Thane, much better. For the next team, this is the standard Belinda team. Belinda works at Legendary, but is obviously better at higher ascensions. Now, interestingly enough, I used Moreel here, but Rain is probably better, but I need Rain for another team, but I'll show you that later, and I'll also show you the guide where it shows you different variations of the different teams. Or yeah, basically I'll just show you the guide that I based my teams on. For the third team, here's the Scarlet team. As you can see, here's Rain, and Scarlet gets it done fairly fast at 3.34 seconds. Really actually proud of Scarlet hanging in with the rest of them here. Very free to play friendly team here, no awakened heroes. For the next team, actually kind of a friendly team because I believe she works, Solise works at Legendary. I'm not entirely sure though, but I've heard she works at Legendary. But here, Iorin, the Spear Boy, really comes in and shines, right? In this game mode, it's just that's the new main reason to build this guy. Before it was the Wilder Tower in PvP. Now he's really good in here. He basically single carries the team, and again, a pretty free to play friendly team here. Only using one awakened hero, which I believe works at Legendary, and it's Solise, who you should build anyways because she's probably the best awakened hero. Now, speaking of a not so free to play friendly team, we have this team, and for this team, I'll go over the guide in a minute, but this team is basically, I mean, it's expensive because it uses Matria, right? But there are variations because you can use a Kren team here that will actually kill the boss. However, it won't kill the boss in very good time. But I was lucky enough that one of my mates was able to borrow a Matria for me. Even if it's not fully built out, it's a lot better than Kren. But I'll get to the Kren variation after I go through my formations. And for the last, the last formation, as you can see, another free-to-play friendly-ish formation because there are substitutes to all of these, which I'll go through once I go through the guide. But as you can see, Awakened Brutus at Legendary, getting it done in 57 seconds. Really impressive. And obviously, if you have Brutus built, this team only gets a lot better. And if you want to do the 4-man mission, I believe these 4 heroes can actually get it done. But if you want to do the 4-man mission and you don't have these 4 heroes, go to the crowdsourcing Discord. And there's a lot of variations on how to get the 4-man mission done for this round of Nightmare Corridor. So anyways, these are my teams that I was able to figure out through guides and through, well, a bit of theory crafting on my own part, but I'll now show you the guide that I based it upon. Now, I bring you 2 guides, one with a white background and one with a black background. Now, both of these guys are in Chinese, and I found both of these guys on the crowdsourcing Discord, linked by a user I'll shout out later in the video. I believe Pogo linked these guides on the crowdsourcing Discord. But the one that I mainly used was this guide, because I believe, like, even though this is a good guide, it didn't have the variations that actually helped me out. For example, as you can see here, it says, oh, if you don't have Thane, you can use Baden, but I have neither, right? So I just threw in Lucretia, but then the team didn't work out. So this guide wasn't really useful for me because the first team I couldn't make it work really. But it's still a good guide, right? I mean, as you can see here, screenshot, it's pretty much just a Thane into Belinda, into Scarlet, into Euron, into Matria or Kren, and into Brutus or Rem, basically. As you can see, a Rem. Another appearance by Rem, which is really lucky. And I believe this is probably the Merc priority for this mission, this round. And I agree. Matria really makes everything a lot more possible, because the fifth fight is so hard compared to the rest of them if you don't have Matria, whereas the rest of them you can kind of make it work. And that's what brings me to the second guide, which again, this is a good guide, right? It'll get you a bit of the way, probably all the way, right? But this guide is where it's really at for me anyways, because as you can see here, for the first team, it had an awakenless variant, and I didn't even think to try irons in this team. And once again, it's in, I'm ignorant, but I'm just gonna assume it's in Chinese, also because Irons' skull is blocked out, which I believe is a thing in China. If any of you have played League of Legends, you would know that some of the skull characters also have different splash outs in China. So I believe this is a Chinese guide, but as you can see here, this is the exact formation I copied to beat the first team, because I was struggling only looking at this guide, right, where I couldn't really make it work. And here you can see, right, the different teams that I use. This is pretty much exactly the team that I used, except instead of Rain, I used Moril, because I needed Rain for this team. And as you can see here, Scarlet, well, they use Awakened Baden, I used Gress, right, and this worked completely fine for me, Gress. And then I used Rain instead of Hodgkin. And here for the Spear Boy, the Eorin team, as you can see, the new Hypergin makes an appearance, but you don't need them. There are alts here, right? I used Dress, even though I have Antandra fully built. I found it better with actually just a 20 signature item Dress was better than a fully built Antandra for me in this round. But we're talking not a lot of variation between the two, like a second max. But Dress was consistently better. And here we have it. Here we have what really is the bane of this round's existence, right? What is going to kill a lot of free-to-play players. The fifth team, right? Where you need Matria, except you don't really need Matria because you can use Kren. But if you use Kren, right, it needs you to have Authors. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have Authors built, right? And my account is 2 years old. I'm building him now because I realized that I should have probably prioritized him. I actually think it's fine because I went for Zorath into Isis and now into I'm blanking on his name now, Orgath, something like that. Anyways, but yeah, still pretty expensive, right? But no Matria, so this team can get it done. But I would actually go to this guide and look at this team, right? I think this is a lot more friendly. Actually, it's the exact same team, but basically for a sub for this guy, use your imagination, right? A lot of things can work. Basically, as Kren, just pull in the strongest heroes you have, because just killing this team is going to be the hard part when using Kren, in my experience. And for the last team, as you can see here, this is actually a bit interesting, because here it lists Brutus, right, as the carry, and it lists the variations if you don't have Brutus. So for me, you know, as you saw on my screenshot, I used a legendary Brutus, which actually beat out my Mulan and my Lucretia. But even if it beats out my Lucretia, I wouldn't even be able to use Lucretia because I needed her in Team 1. So yeah, legendary Brutus is actually pretty sick. Now, admittedly, my Mulan is not built out very much. I think she's 20 signature item and maybe 3 or 9 furniture. So, like, if she was higher built with some engraving and stuff, probably she would beat legendary Brutus. But again, you can actually get away with this with just a legendary Brutus, and even awakenless if you can free up Lucretia from Team 1. But that's actually about it for this guide. Sorry it's a bit late. It's also late here. Exams and stuff, lots of stuff to do, but I wanted to get this out here because, I mean, when I spent so much time researching and thinking about my teams, I thought I might as well help you guys out, so you don't have to spend as much time trying to make things work. Well, granted that you could copy my teams to a certain extent. So yeah, once again, the short version, here are my teams. As you can see, I struggled a few times killing the boss, right? These are my Kryn variations where Kryn couldn't get it done. But yeah, Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4, Team 5, and Team 6. Sorry, it's a bit fast, but I'm about to end this guide. But before I end this guide, I really want to show you this. Where did I find these guides? Well, it's my one true friend in this world, Pogo, from the AFK Arena crowdsourcing Discord server. This just, descending from the heavens, dropping these 2 guides, and no one is even acknowledging them, because probably most people already attacked. But I was sitting here, he even dropped a guide earlier, right? But I was sitting here looking through all the formations, right? Trying to make things work. But everyone is just, using such expensive formation. And then out of nowhere, Pogo just descends, as you can see, credit to AFK Inside, right? And he just, shares it with us, the commoners who can't read Chinese or find the Chinese guides. So yeah, TLDR, use these 2 guides. Use the AFK Arena crowdsourcing Discord server for Nightmare Corridor teams. And you can always go look at the leaderboards, right? Depending on your account, of course. Because, everything is visible on the leaderboard. So you can, in theory, just, go look at the leaderboard and then copy these teams. But for most people, that's not really an option. And that's, where alternative guides come in. So I hope this guide helped you guys rank a little bit higher and get, I'm really hoping I can stay here, right? Get you rewards higher than, what you were getting before, right? Because these rewards are very juicy. And if you're somehow able to get into the top 5%, this is just, yeah, the rewards speak for themselves, and the bait and the diamonds, everything is good, right? But that's about it for me. I hope my guide helped you guys out in placing higher in the Nightmare Corridor. I'm losing my voice. I recorded 3 guides back to back, and I'm going to bed. But thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.